Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Humbled with me, your host that you love and miss so much since last week. If you're new here, this is a storytelling comedy series while I will read submitted stories sent in by you guys while also sharing a humbling story about me. My story today is about the time that I got scammed, and I want to say that I am embarrassed because this happened last month. This happened a little too recently for it to be kind of not my fault. It definitely was my fault. I'm 27. Okay. I feel like I'm at the age where I should be scamming people, like not being scammed. Hear me out. Okay. This is on me. Hear me out. Okay. A couple weeks ago, I decided that I want to make a buck. Okay. I have some items in my closet that I do not use. I'm barely touching, like some shoes and like a really nice Coach bag that I thrifted that I don't wear. And I'm going to go on Depop because I see that people are making so much money. I'm buying stuff on Depop. Like, this is going to be quick and easy, and I'll post the link and it'll get sold immediately. That's what I thought. That is not what happened. Okay. I upload all these photos of my shoes. I'm describing them. I'm getting really in the weeds of this because I'm like, these are going to fly off the shelf. Okay. Like, everyone wants these. Once I post them, I find myself receiving an email like almost immediately. It was several emails, honestly. It was like, hi, I want to buy this. Hey, love the shoes. Can I buy this? Like, my name is Jessica. I'm really interested in the bag. Is it sold yet? Like, all these really what seemed legit inquiries. And I, kind of have a big ego that I saw that and I was like, well, absolutely. Of course, I immediately sell them minutes after posting them. Not even minutes, it was seconds. Like, it was immediately. And I was like, that's just so classic of me. And that's just so, fortunate that I'm able to give back to the community and give them my stuff. I'm thinking that this is like a bulletproof plan. I'm so excited. And it says, if you want to continue this conversation, click the link or something of that sort. So I go to the link and the link says, hi, to accept the sale, you need to put in your debit card information. And I was like, okay. I mean, rules are rules. I've never used this platform before. I've never sold anything on Depop. I don't really have friends that have sold on Depop that I could even really ask. So I was just doing as told, like a perfect woman. And I start onboarding my finances on here. They're asking me for not social security. That would be kind of scary, but the security code on the back of the card. They're wanting to know these things. And I'm like, all right, maybe it's to accept payment. Like, I don't know why I can't see the offer first before accepting, but who am I to judge? I'm about to put in my debit card information, and that is when I remember that I don't actually have a debit card. I lost it a while ago and I just use Apple Pay. Sorry, I'm literally a young hoe. So I look online and I'm asking ChatGPT, which is, don't come for me, but yeah, it was kind of just like stupid and stupider talking to each other. ChatGPT tells me that I can get a quick debit card on PayPal. Like, if I have a PayPal account, I could just say create a debit card and then you can see those numbers instantly. Because I did not have a physical number to read. I just had like my bank account information. I go on PayPal, I make a debit card, I order one. Like, I'm doing all this thing just to accept $60 fucking for these loafers. But I was like, you know what? I want to do this quick before this person changes their mind. And like, I want to get rid of this stuff. So I'm kind of feeling the pressure of the time. And I like immediately get this PayPal information and I put in it and it accepts it. And then it says that I have too low of a balance to accept the money. And for those of you guys thinking like this has never been a thing, yeah, it hasn't. And I thought I was the first. Like, I was like, this is a thing now and it's in beta with me. Like, maybe this is a thing with Depop. I don't know. I don't use it. So I end up transferring money to PayPal. Like, I transferred like $300 to PayPal. It said I needed a minimum of $300. And I was like, oh, this is annoying. So I transfer the money. You can only like transfer so much in a day that I remember that I was like about to text a friend and be like, hey, can you send me money on PayPal? That's when I've lost it, because I think I wanted more than 300 just in case like they gave me an issue, because I can't put multiple transfers in a day. Something was happening. Either way, I put in my PayPal debit card information. And, this is probably the point of the story where I should have been like, this isn't happening. This is a scam. This is fake. But I do it. I transfer the money and I put in my information. And once I do that, this chat bot keeps like coming up and it's talking to me like the whole way through. And it's like, send your information, put it in 300 minimum. And I'm, was getting frustrated because I'm like, what am I, this is a lot to do to accept this sale. Fucking Depop, that I literally write to the chat bot and I said, hey, is this a scam? And she doesn't answer. So I'm like, you know what? She didn't say no. Okay. That I didn't get a response. It doesn't mean that it is. I end up sending all the information. And once that happens, I get a notification banner up top. And it says, thank you for sending $300 to Unlimited Crypto. And that's when I was like, is this a scam? Like, that was the point where I was like, perhaps this is the issue. Unlimited Crypto. I was like, is that a nickname for Sarah? Is that Michael's maiden name? Like, is that someone, is this, maybe it's a different account. I lost the $300. And the real humbling part of the story is that I was so frustrated and confused and actually had questions that I made a TikTok saying this. And this was before I sent the money. Like, I was in the midst and I was like,
anyone Depop, like, having issues with Depop, why didn't you put in your debit card? Like, it's so annoying.
Like, I was trying to open up like a discussion piece and like, hear what people had to say. But the answer was that it was a scam. And all of the comments were like, girl, tell me this is satire. Like, tell me that you're being like ironic. Like, this is obviously a scam. And I was flipping the camera to show what I was talking about. And the literal email was gibberish. Like, people were like, girl, like, are you a boomer? Like, look at the email. Like, it's Sarah $102 percent sign XYZXY. Like, it was so obvious that it was a scam. Anyway, I ended up getting my money back like a month later. I had to go through a fucking hell with PayPal, but I did it. But that was very humbling. Screw you, Depop. But if anyone wants, I have loafers, chunky loafers, that is a size 7 that are very tight. So hit me up. I only wore them once. This story is sent in from a guy and he says, I was 19 and in college at the time when I went on a romantic trip to Chicago with my then girlfriend. This was our first time going away together and we didn't have a lot of money, so the hotel was honestly nicer than I expected, but the room was super small. Summertime, great vibes, but it was a tiny room with an even tinier bathroom. The bed basically took up the whole room and then the door to the bathroom was right there. One day I had to shit bad and didn't want to basically shit in the same room as her. So I made up some excuse to try to go down to the lobby bathroom, but the elevator was taking forever. So I booked it down these creepy ass stairs to try to find one on another floor. Unfortunately, I didn't make it. I'm about to shit myself, so I literally shit in the stairwell. For the rest of the trip, I was terrified they were going to look at the security tapes and come kick me out of my room. Luckily, they didn't, and I don't think she ever knew. I still feel bad for the cleaners and the neighborhood unhoused person who is probably getting blamed for this. Whoa. I mean, shitting in the stairwell is probably the most uncomfortable place to shit. Like, I feel like if this is like those AI slop videos that are like, where do you want to take a shit? And it's like in a pond, in a stairwell. Like, stairwell will be the last on my list. Like, that seems so hard. That seems like so kiki. Like, I want to take a dump in like a boba environment, which I know you didn't have a choice, but goddamn, I actually don't even think that I can shit on command like this. Like, I need a lot. Like, I feel like shitting for me is kind of like coming. Like, I need the temperature to be set at a certain degree and like to be in my favorite position and like comfortable and like breathing and having a tempo. Like, I can't just go willy-nilly taking a dump on a stairwell. Like, you're kind of crazy for that. The good question is, did you wipe? Was there anything to use? Did you wipe with like a door stopper? Like, how do you wipe in that scenario. And you need to wipe for cocky. Hello? That's nuts. And then you just left it there like a dog. That's kind of like a strength, I guess, that like you can use the bathroom in any condition, scenario, time, and place, because goddamn, did you ever tell her? I mean, that must be absolutely jaw dropping to hear if I was like,
3 years ago today when we went on that weekend away, like I took a dump in the stairwell.
that's nuts. You couldn't hold it? Like, I feel like I've never had like an instant shit like that. That also would give me so much anxiety the whole trip. If like any knock, room service on the door, I would literally think it's like a police officer arresting me for doing poopy in the stairwell. What if they put out like a thing, like a memo, you know, like in the elevator being like, someone took a dump. Also, this was back then. I feel like now they wouldn't let that fly. Like, they would have your photo in the lobby of like security footage of like, this guy took a dump. Can anyone identify this crack? Like, I don't know, man. That is something that I would take to the grave, but I'm glad that you told me instead. This next story is from a guy, and he starts off by saying, I've been stuck on my high school sweetheart for almost a decade now. Damn, brother. I was working at Adidas and I thought I saw her, but realized it was just this Brazilian girl that looked exactly like her. I went out and asked for her number, and then when I was on break again, I saw her waiting outside my store. We started talking, and out of my crazy, manic, psycho mind, with her looking like my ex, I asked her to be my girlfriend, and she said yes. I started learning Portuguese on Duolingo for 214 days straight. We were texting every day, and I'm passing up on girls trying to get with me, but she lived in Brazil, so it was just dick in my hand. We talked for months, and then she started getting dry and eventually ghosted me. I crashed out and ran to Miami in a manic panic, losing my $3,000 camera and quitting my job, all because she blocked me for partying and BSing because she was a ghost. So many months later, she unblocked me and has a wedding ring in her bio now. I'm sick as fuck about it, and now I speak Portuguese for no reason. SMH. Well, that's one way to keep a Duolingo streak, honestly. I feel like I cannot go past 3 days. I just always crash out. You have to have a boo, and like, how are you gonna communicate dirty talk on like what you want and stuff like that if you don't know the language? That's good motivation. Maybe I'm gonna like get a dude in Mexico, in Colombia, and I'm gonna learn Spanish finally, just because I need to tell this guy like, espérate, you know, like I need that, honestly. Out of all things, this is a positive, okay? Like, this is a good thing to get from your ex, because I feel like with an ex, you know, you get into new hobbies and you learn new things, like, you know, knitting or hiking or doing ketamine. Like, this is a good problem, you know, like this is like a fun skill that you now have and obtained. I want to be that high school ex to someone, not over your high school sweetheart for almost a decade. Like, is a decade 10 years? Yes. That's a lot. Pussy fire. I mean, goddamn. 10 years, still not over her. I mean, I really hope that I am that to somebody and be nobody's piece. You kind of say like you were a psycho and asked her to be your girlfriend. She's a psycho for agreeing. You had one conversation outside of the Foot Locker and she said, okay, let's do it. Like, hello? Also, what was the plan? Like, 214 days that you were doing Duolingo Portuguese, so almost a year that you guys were talking. Was there ever plans on meeting up? You know, like you just wanted to be with this girl because she looked like that girl. Like, that's so funny, and guys are hilarious because women could never do that. Like, it doesn't matter if this is the hottest guy on earth. If like he's not fun and I don't like him as a person, you know, it would never work. It doesn't matter if he looks like every ex I've had combined and all their best features. It just wouldn't happen. I mean, what in the hell? And she ghosted you after all these months of talking. Like, I don't know who has it worse in this story, her or you, but it's you. It's just you. After all this, honestly, you deserve a trip to Brazil. And now that you are equipped with the language, you can easily double up. You can easily replace her. You can get two baddies. I mean, hello, this is a good problem to have, knowing Portuguese. Our last and final story for today that was submitted is titled The Redhead Story, ... I was staying upstate towards the end of the pandemic. This was back when those sad virtual happy hours were still a thing for some companies. I went to the bar with a friend who worked at the same company as me at 12 p.m. sharp, right when the bar opened. We drank all day, and by the time we were logging on the video to our virtual happy hour at 5 p.m., we were both wasted, totally blacked out. I came to around 11 p.m. and saw a text on my phone, and it said, "This is the redhead from earlier. Do you and your friend want to hang out with me and my friend in our hotel room?" Oh, I loosely remember giving my number out to a few girls at the bar throughout the day and some friends of friends for hiking recommendations. So I assumed that I must have met this girl and her friend at some point during the day. My friend was passed out, so I took the opportunity to go there myself and have a threesome. Keep in mind, I didn't care to ask their name or have any recollection of what they look like, but I'm sure any straight, half-wasted man would have done the same, right? As I'm walking to the hotel room, the texts get more aggressive. They went from "come by yourself and spend the night here" to "you should just whip it out as soon as you walk in." As I get to the hotel, I realize that I totally forgot my mask. So now I'm walking through the hotel with a hand over my nose and mouth like a fucking moron, LOL. I finally get to the hotel room. The door opens up and it's a redhead dude. Believe it or not, I actually walked in. I was basically roasting him for purposely trying to come off as if he was a girl. I was laughing at him, being like, "Dude, you thought I'd just walk in here and be gay? You knew what you were doing. Come on, man." Apparently his partner was in the bathroom getting ready. He said that I gave him my number at the bar, which had to be true and is totally possible because I have no radar for when gay guys are hitting on me, and this isn't the first time I misinterpreted that. The redhead pushed me out of the room and slammed the door. One lesson I learned from this experience: find out the name, gender, and what people look like before showing up to their room for a threesome. Wowzer. You know what? If you were a true, straight, half-wasted man, you would have done it, okay? You would have been horny and you would have done it. Doesn't matter what it was. You would have been, "Fuck it, I'm drunk and I'm straight and I would fuck anything." So I'm calling BS on this story. Also, maybe you should have seen what the partner looked like when he came out, because that maybe would have changed your mind. Like, if you're not into redheads, like, what if he was a blonde? You know, I feel like you left that a little too quick. But I do remember being like out and not having a mask and feeling naked and having to run and be like insane like that. So I get that. Also, peak COVID years is peak horny years, okay? People wanted anything. So honestly, again, I'm shocked that you just didn't say fuck it. I mean, you were having sex like over a Zoom call, but you won't fuck a guy in the ass. Like, hello, are you homophobic? The fuck? You said that you gave out your number to a lot of girls throughout the day and then friends of friends for hiking recommendations. So it could have went either which way, you know? It could have been the girls, or it could have been we start the hike here and we're going up. Like, it could have really been a whole bunch of things. All right, guys. Well, this is our last story of this episode today. Thank you guys for submitting. As per usual, these submissions just keep getting better and better, and I love reading them. So if you haven't submitted, you know what to do. I will see you guys next week. Thank you for watching and have a good night.